Cowboys win. Cowboys win. We beat the Redskins. What do you think about that, Chris?
Well, I don't like that you called them the Redskins. I wish you would call them
It's
something
offensive.
else.
It is offensive.
Because...
But I don't know yet. I don't know if they're going to be the Foreskins or not.
What do you call them? What do you call them?
I don't know. My wife's grandmother calls them Washington. Maybe we can call them Washington.
I think it's funny that, the whole city of Washington, D.C. shut down for the last 2 weeks, but they didn't shut down the Cowboys.
They can't shut down the Cowboys.
Well, let's say this. We can't say that the Cowboys won tonight. Dwayne Harris won tonight.
Dwayne Harris is a bad man.
He
had the electric return for the touchdown.
He had 2 electric returns. He
He did.
Then he had the 90-yard. Then he had the 90-yard return.
The difference is one of them was a blown-up transformer and the other one was a lightning bolt.
Yes.
But they were both very dangerous.
Well, he had that huge 90-yard return that set up that great catch by the former Baylor Bear great, T. Will.
Terrence Williams.
But I was really mad. And I didn't show it, but I thought that Dwayne Harris should have got to at least play in the slot and try to catch a slant pass in the end zone. It's what Chicago did with Devin Hester, or Cleveland did with Joshua Cribbs.
At least put Dwayne Harris at quarterback and let him throw it to Terrence Williams.
Because I'm going to be honest with you, I think that as electrifying as Dwayne Harris is, that if he was given enough snaps, he could be better than Peyton Manning.
Maybe.
Because he is a Dallas Cowboy.
So he's got that potential.
And I'm a Homer fan.
Every Dallas Cowboy has the potential
to be better than Peyton Manning.
To be great, except for Miles Austin. He has no potential whatsoever. The only potential he has is to break the record for the most shattered hamstring muscles.
Miles Austin is going to go down, and he's going to tell his great-grandkids, kids, I tore my hamstring 11 times over the course of my playing career. And his grandkids are going to look at him and go, Grandpa, you didn't last long enough to tear your hamstring 11 times.
First of all, it's weird thinking about Miles Austin as a grandpa.
Well, yeah.
But he does play like one sometimes. Here's the thing. Miles Austin, the only award he should ever receive is a Purple Heart.
Well, yeah.
Because he's gotten injured many times in the line of duty and gone on.
Well, there is another Dallas Cowboy who is in the running for that Purple Heart that Miles Austin always gets. And he got hurt tonight. Lo and behold, who is that? DeMarco Murray.
Good old Murray.
DeMarco Murray.
I would say that Miles Austin, I will say that he could be a candidate for Comeback Player of the Year, but I wouldn't spell it C-O-M-E.
Right. Comeback Player of the Decade, maybe.
I don't know about his personal life. I'm just saying. You can't spell it C-O-M-E.
I got a question for you. Do you know why people from Texas say y'all instead of you?
I know the punchline, but it wouldn't be funny if I said it.
Go ahead and say it.
No, because I don't know how to say it.
No, because I have asthma and it's going to make me laugh when you say it, and that's what's funny.
I know the 2 letters. I just don't know the joke. I don't know how to
OU sucks.
Because okay. Well, I was going to say that, but I thought you had something. I thought you had something better than
because
that.
OU sucks.
Yeah, you want to leave out the OU.
Yeah. And that's why DeMarco Murray sucks. Is because he's from OU. If he would have came from any school other than OU, he would be good.
If he would have stayed in Las Vegas, where he came from, and went to UNLV,
he'd be the greatest.
He'd be badass right now.
You name one good Oklahoma University football player that's in the league right now.
I can't name a single running back that went to Oklahoma who's worth a damn.
Exactly.
There's none of them.
And that's why I didn't want us to draft DeMarco Murray.
I mean, what was that guy's name? That Quentin. You know what I'm talking about? The little.
I know what you're talking
little,
about.
half Mexican.
Yeah.
Quentin something. Quentin.
Tarantino, he loved feet.
Quentin Tarantino, something like that.
He like had the biggest foot fetish ever.
Anyway, he was the only decent running back that Oklahoma's ever produced.
And he still wasn't good.
And he was horrible. Robert Quentin, that's gonna drive me nuts. Anyway, let me bring out my notes. Okay. Bullet point number 1. Robert Griffin, the great Roberto Griffin III, threw for more yards than Romo. But guess what? It didn't matter. No one cares how many yards you throw. Romo knows this.
Yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't matter how few or how many yards you throw. You're going to be judged on whether you won or lost at the end of the game if you're a quarterback. That's just how the NFL works. That's how people judge.
Question though.
What?
And here's the dumpster fire that is the Dallas Cowboys. Do you think that all the Washington Redskins fans right now are tweeting and calling into their radio station saying, "We need another quarterback. Robert Griffin's the problem"?
No.
Reverse the roles. What would have been said about Tony Romo tonight if Tony Romo was the loser, 31-16 versus the Redskins?
He would be getting nailed to a cross.
And that's why I say it sucks to be Tony Romo.
Yeah, he's a can't win guy.
Right, he's never going to win.
I guarantee
the only person he's ever going to win with is his wife.
Right.
And that's because he got her knocked up.
Yeah, twice, I think.
Twice, yeah. And he's paying good. He'll pay good child support if he ever leaves her.
People will say that we won. The Romo haters will say we won in spite of Romo.
Right. Special teams and defense.
Yep, they're going to say it. They're going to say, well, even though we had Romo back there, we found a way to win. And here's another bullet point on my notes. Romo threw one pick. It was tipped at the line.
That ball could have very easily been intercepted
By the tipper.
by the tipper.
Yes. So it's kind of, that's going to be a popular thing to say is, well, it was a tip. You can't count it as an interception. And I'm guilty. I say that sometimes. Like, people just look at the interception stat and say, this quarterback this year had 18 interceptions. Well, how many of those did the receiver knock up in the air?
Right.
Well, that's a really misleading stat. But in this case, he threw it right to the guy, right to the end, and it got tipped. So I'm not really gonna give him a pass on that. But Romo played great. Don't let me be bitching about it. I'm reading the notes, guys.
Hey, was that not a great pass that he made to Terrence Williams?
That was a beautiful pass.
It was the pass he made. The only way it could have been caught was by Terrence Williams.
Yeah, and I think the only other person in the world that could have completed that pass was probably Dwayne Harris.
Right.
And again, they should have at least considered letting old Dwayne throw that one. Something that was interesting, Redskins ran the ball a lot better than the Cowboys did.
Absolutely.
And it didn't make a damn.
Well, they don't give up on the run, for one.
They don't. And furthermore, those Alfred Morris runs where he got all those yards.
That was on one run.
Man, it was two.
Two, yeah.
We wrapped a bow on those runs.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Alfred Morris guy anyway, but dude, he didn't.
Okay, first of all, his one big run for like 47 yards.
Yeah.
When did he get that? Immediately after the Redskins had gone on a 7-minute drive and kicked a field goal.
Yeah.
And then they turn around. Dwayne Harris turns around and takes the kickoff 90 yards for at the 8.
And the defense is right back out there.
And then the defense is right back out there again. Well, we already know that they're gassed because they're such we're so thin at defensive line, and that is another thing that just drives me nuts is just trying to wrap my brain around the fact that we're dead last in passing yards allowed, but we're fourth in the run, and yet it's our defensive line that can't get to the quarterback that's allowing our cornerbacks to have to recover the other team's receivers so long that makes us give up so many passing yards. And it's just weird to think that you have such opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah,
and yet it's your great players that end up looking bad because of statistics.
And if you're trying to pin it, make a case for blaming the D line, let's put it this way: we had trouble getting to in these two games, Peyton Manning and Robert Griffin.
Right,
they're completely different.
Exactly,
we couldn't get to either one of them.
Well,
so that kind of tells me that. Well, hell, you can't get to a statue that avoids sacks by getting the ball out
and ran in for a touchdown.
Right,
from 7 yards out, which was so weird.
He avoids sacks by getting the ball out and making the right pre-snap reads. Griffin avoids pressure by moving around the pocket or moving out of the pocket. We couldn't get to either one of them, so that's a problem.
So basically, you could say we can't blame our defensive line for our defensive line problems. Really, who we need to be blaming is the front office for not going out and trying to find somebody that we can put in there to step up and kind of add that pressure. I mean, at what point do you say, man, let's give up a 3rd and 5th round draft pick for a defensive lineman who can apply some pressure?
It's got to be coming next year, especially with the move to the 4-3. In defense of the front office, the injuries on the D-line don't help.
And I get that.
D. Ware going out? Did they end up saying it was a hamstring, they said? He pulled up. It looked like it.
Yeah.
He just kind of pulled up and jogged off after that.
It's not good when you walk to the training room and you come back and you're in street clothes. That's not good.
Yeah, that ain't good at all.
That's not good.
He's probably going to miss some time. So, D-line taking some hits, man. That ain't good, considering we're already having trouble getting pressure on quarterbacks. Washington put their best cover guy on Dez and put a safety over the top most of the game. So he was contained. That's to be expected when they focus on that. What happens when you contain Dez? Someone else needs to step up. Terrence Williams and Cole Beasley stepped up.
I thought Cole Beasley did a great job of stepping up and catching those little 5 and 6 yard pass routes getting an extra 4 or 5 yards out of it. I don't want to hear the lunch pail crap. I don't want to hear the.
No, he's a legitimate athlete.
Yeah, I mean, Terrence Williams would have made those plays. Dwayne Harris would have made those plays.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter who you put there. But I guess the play that sticks out from the whole game in my mind wasn't even on the Cowboys' end. It was that play D'Angelo Hall made in the end zone because he stopped that game from being a blowout. It was fixing to be a blowout.
That was a perfect over-the-shoulder pass to Miles Austin. And D'Angelo Hall did a swan leap and just got his... And ironically, or I guess this is indicative of the play, he tipped it with his middle finger.
Yeah. Kind of like, hey...
As if to say, hey, man, come on.
Yeah.
F you. Don't do that again.
But what's funny is, if you look at that play in slow motion, you can say, well, why didn't Miles Austin come back?
Well...
And then you can look at it. You can look at it as
it was perfect.
You can look at it as the way I look at it and just say, "Man, that's a great athletic play by D'Angelo Hall."
Yeah, I mean,
because clearly he got beat. It was a sluggo route, wasn't it?
That's why. I think it was more of a stopping. I think it was a. Yeah, I think it might have been.
It might have been like
there was a double move.
Route.
There was a double move.
It was definitely a double move route,
but. The thing is, I'm a big fan. I'm a big believer in come back to the ball. But dude, that was perfectly thrown over the shoulder. No one but D'Angelo Hall thought that was about to be defended. And dude, he did a great job there. But I don't like D'Angelo Hall, so I'm going to act like he accidentally knocked it away.
What is D'Angelo Hall most known for?
Spitting in players' faces
and
what?
Like taunting.
Receivers
that are paralyzed on the ground.
Yeah, he's good at that too.
Hey, as much credit as I want to give to him, and I have to give it to him because he did make the play of the game in my mind. Because if Miles Austin catches that ball, it's a blowout.
Yeah.
At that point, it's a blowout.
He kept it close.
But they kicked a field goal. We kicked like a 30-yard field goal, and it was still an 8-point game. So it gave the Redskins some new life.
And that's why you get paid.
That is why you get paid
big money to make plays like that.
So even though the score was 31-16, it very easily could end up being like maybe another 11-point swing.
Yeah, and you never know. You never know what happened. I mean, it's a game of reaction to what happened. So
right. And
you never know.
What about the block? What about the block on the kickoff return? That
was that
Dwayne Harris?
Was it Terrence
returned?
Williams? Who was that? The block?
Man, I don't know, but dude, they flat out leveled that guy.
I remember that. It was near the sidelines,
and they kind of just like stuck their forearm out, and it didn't look like it was that big of a hit, but it was a pretty nasty hit. The
other guy was running pretty fast.
Yeah, the other dude, he would argue with us because he would say, "Hey, man, that was a pretty nasty hit."
Like
he delivered
if you're running full speed into a brick wall. No, the brick wall wasn't moving, but you still ran into it really fast. That's kind of the situation that was going on. The good news is the Cowboys won, and it was a division game.
And so now we're sitting tied in first place.
Yeah.
Right with the Eagles. They're 3-3 too. And
it feels good. And we're running low on time, so that's it. Feel good, Cowboys fans. You deserve it. And we'll see if next time we play, we're playing the Foreskins.
Right.
Or the Red Penises. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to be called.
Hey, and you guys don't give up on Cole Beasley. I think he's going to be a staple in our offense before the season's over with.
Yep.
You heard that here first.
You're the innovator. We will be back.
It kills me not to know this, but I've all but just forgotten what the color of her eyes were, and her scars or how she got them.
All right, next up on the docket, Cowboys are going to have another big, probably I would say their biggest rival this year, the biggest threat. Philadelphia. It's not the Giants.
No.
Redskins are struggling, and we just beat them. So, yeah, I'd say the Eagles are public enemy number one this year.
Can I make a bold prediction, though?
What?
Giants win the Super Bowl.
Okay. You want to throw that out there?
I mean, it only makes sense. They've done this before.
That's what they do.
But with us playing the Eagles, this is going to be a very weird game, I think. I think it's going to be a very weird game because both teams... I mean, obviously the Cowboys, they're second in the league in scoring? At like almost 30 points a game or right at 30 points a game, right behind Denver.
They're up there.
Man, I mean, we've kind of discovered our identity as a scoring team, but at some point we're going to have to make those defensive stops, and we're going to have to we're going to have to play defense.
Yeah, and you could say, well, you held Washington to 16, but that's not their offense is having issues anyway.
Right.
So the Eagles, they look like they found something. Nick Foles is probably going to start based on what I've read and the fact that he threw for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no picks. He did pretty damn good. But either way, no matter
even
who
if Michael Vick starts, you've got 4 extremely explosive players on offense. You've got Vick, you've got LaShawn McCoy, you've got Deshaun Jackson, you've got Jeremy Maclin.
He's hurt.
Jeremy Maclin's hurt.
But you got Cooper.
But I mean, I'm sorry, you've got Riley Cooper.
Yeah.
You've got Selleck, who's always a threat.
Yeah.
And even if Vic doesn't play, he's got you've got Nick Foles. I mean, who's proven.
Nick Foles just played better than Vic has all season.
Yeah, and he's proven that he can be a decent NFL quarterback. Now, do I want him over Romo? No. But I would take Vic.
I think we will have success stopping their run. However, for my fantasy brothers out there, you should still start McCoy
Yeah, because those little swing
That
passes
dude
and those
is
little wheel
on
routes,
screens, swing passes,
wheel routes,
little outlet, 2-yard curls. He's gonna get his. It's
you
gonna
know
happen.
the play that the Eagles used to run with Andy Reid that used to drive me nuts because I used to think to myself, come on, we know they're going to do it. How can't they stop it? Is that play where LaShawn McCoy will run between the center and the tackle?
Sneak through.
He'll like sneak through there like he's going to block like a blitzing linebacker or something and runs about 4 yards up the field and just is wide open
Yeah,
in
it's
the
a little
middle.
slip route. Yeah.
And he catches it.
The receivers run everybody off.
Yeah, and he catches it and then he gets like 37 yards on it and it's like, guys, you knew that was coming. You knew it was coming.
Yeah, we're gonna need our secondary to step up. I do think, despite the defensive line being beat up, I do think we're gonna be able to stop the run and make them one-dimensional. What's your prediction?
I'm gonna say Eagles 31-3
Okay.
over the Cowboys.
I think that it's really weird just thinking about the Cowboys scoring over 30 3 times in a row. So I'm gonna give them 29. I'm gonna give the Cowboys 29 points. I'm gonna give the Eagles 28.
Oh, 29-28. See,
Yeah.
this is like the weirdest score you could
That's the
possibly
score.
imagine.
29-28.
Like, how did they get 29? I want to know. Give me your math. Give me your best math.
3, 6, 9, 12, 15.
No, wait, you almost started off with that song. I heard you.
21,
369, look at Dale so far from the windows to the wall.
Oh man, that doesn't.
Sweat run down my balls. All these
I
females
think
crawl.
I think that they're gonna find a way to score 29 points. You understand? They're gonna defy the rules.
Okay, listen. I see how that can be done. They can score
Safeties,
3 touchdowns,
Field goals,
3
touchdowns,
touchdowns,
missed extra points,
2 field goals,
2-point
and a
conversions.
save.
They're gonna find a way
Okay,
to score 29.
that's what I wanted
points.
to know.
And then
You have faith,
Eagles-
though, that they're going to land on that 29.
yeah, they're gonna line on 29. Well, I'm
Hey.
positive. I've never been more sure of anything in my entire life.
Now listen, I've always thought, you could predict the score of a game. You could, but you should never really see it happen. But your boy, C. Joseph Wright,
Yeah.
he was within 1 point of actually getting the score right. Like
Joseph Wright.
he said 31-17, and it was 31-16, and I was like, man, I kind of would like to use him on some insider trading on
gonna go ahead-
some stocks.
I'm going to go ahead and say
Because he
that
knows something that we don't know.
I'm going to go ahead and say that my buddy Joseph Wright cheated.
You think so?
I think he found a way. I think he found that computer. You know how the WWE they have their matches set up.
Right,
They already know
right,
what's going to happen.
right.
I think the NFL's like that too, and I think somehow Joseph Wright got into that computer, if only for 1 week, and saw that Cowboys game. He's a really determined individual. He found a way. But that's our predictions. We're running out of time, and that's all we're going to do today. That's all we're doing.
Hey, y'all get out of here. Go on and
Yeah.
enjoy your weekend.
That's enough. We've had enough of this. Goodbye, everybody. Sober Boys Podcast. Later.
Guess I should start at the top. Seems like a logical thing.